Good morning. It's Wednesday, March 1st, 2017, 9 o'clock, and we're in the Senator Hearing Room 555 Court Street Northeast in Salem for a weekly Board of Commissioners meeting. We start our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, so please join.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all.
Again, welcome. Our first item is always public comment. We do have one person signed up to speak at that public comment. There you are, David. Would you come up and tell us what you'd like to?
Commissioners, my name is David Beam. I'm an advocate for special needs population in Salem. I testified on homeless thing for mental health in the state. I got a bill in the legislature for a drop-in center for mentally ill and disabled people get services after 5 o'clock in the county. Because after 5 o'clock, mental health is shut down. So I was asking the legislature and the state and the counties will fund the program for 6 months trial basis for Marion County and Kaiser. First for mentally ill and disabled for services after 5 o'clock or can't get services for police departments. Because after 5 o'clock, I don't have to wait for next week or a month get services on holding time. Because a lot of them can't read and write in this state. And I think we need to fix this problem to the legislature. And I was asking the Marion County Commissioners will go help me and get this done for the county and be the first one in the nation would get this done, funding program. And I was talking to Peter Courtney on this. I got both speakers on my side. So I'm asking you, the county will do that, and the mayor of this Salem will fix this. And I already talked to Chuck Bennett, he likes the idea for Salem and get funding for this program. That's all I'm asking, and I'm asking the Marion County Sheriff to be involved in this, and the police departments in Salem area. Help me out and get this done for mentally ill and disabled, a drop-in center for both. To be the first one in the nation would be get done better, because I'm on the waiting list so high in the counties. Any of them don't have any services. Thank you.
All right, David, we do have some programs, and I know what you're talking about for regular, but we have some special emergency, and the sheriff's here. Probably love to tell you about it, but we're working on it, and we agree with you. You wrote down that you wanted to speak about health care for foster homes.
Yeah, the foster homes are the same thing. That's the problem. The state's not looking at that. I testified on it, and the state's not looking at it. County's not looking at it. So I was thinking if we can set up a task force on this problem for the county, for the county commissioners would set up a meetings and for every disability people in the county who look at this problem. A lot of them can't read and write in this state. So they'll call on me and ask me why come this is not done for them. So I'm asking the county if we can set up a task force for these problems. It'd be best things for the county commissioners looking more involved in this.
Okay.
And that's all I'm asking.
All right, thank you. We'll see what we can do.
Thanks, David.
Next item is the consent calendar, and you're asking if it's your turn, and we've decided it is.
Okay. You're the boss.
No, I'm just
You're
telling
the chair. Mr. Chair, I'll move the consent calendar under Business Services, approve an order appointing Denise Bowles to the Marion County Budget Committee with a term ending June 30th, 2019. Under the Sheriff's Office, approve Amendment Number 2 to the contract for services with the Mid-Valley Community Action Agency to add $15,000 for navigator services to the parole and probation clients at Marion County Transition Center.
I'll second the motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor then say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. First action items under business services, we consider approval of the construction manager general contractor agreement with Emmerich Construction Company for Sheriff's Office Central District and Parole and Probation new construction. The agreement amount is $56,200 for pre-construction services. Target guaranteed maximum price is $9,500,000, and construction shall be completed by May 18th, 2018, just about a year. Colleen Coons Chaffins and somebody. Camber.
I'm gonna,
Good morning.
basically back in July, we started this process, talking about this project for the sheriff's campus out at Almsville, basically the Central District Office and the Parole and Probation. Back in July, we came to you as the contract review board, and you approved a contract to get that going. We've been working on that, and we awarded a contract back in November to Emmerich, and I'd like to introduce Emmerich to you real quick. So if Emmerich would stand up. So the three people standing up to my left is Larry Sitz, who's one of the principals of the company, Mandy, who's helping on our design team, and Matt Winkler, who's our project manager.
Good morning.
Working with Day CPM, Eric is next to them, who's been working as our owner's rep on both our projects. And of course, Sheriff and his team have been working very closely with us. So today, we'd like you to consider to approve the contract, and Camber's gonna talk to you about that a little bit.
So good morning, commissioners and member of the board. So back in September, or back in August actually, we issued an RFP to get the CMGC contractor. We came to you back in July with the exemption to do the RFP as opposed to the invitation to bid. We received 4 responses to that RFP, and Emmerich was awarded the contract. We did work closely with Day CPM on drafting that CMGC contract. It's one that the county has not done in quite some time, but it was very successful, and we were able to execute a good contract.
Wonderful. Any questions?
No, just a statement. We do have a pretty semi-local contractor that's going to be able to work on this, provide jobs in the area, and it's good that we could have a Oregon contractor doing this, so we're excited about that. And I know the sheriff's excited about getting this building going.
Well, we've been thinking about it for a long time, and I'm real happy to keep moving it along, and thank you for your work in getting us as good a control and deal as we can. So,
Mr. Chair, I'll move approval of construction manager general contractor agreement with Emmerich Construction for the Sheriff's Office Central District Office and Parole and Probation new construction. Agreement in amount is $56,200 for pre-construction services, and target guaranteed maximum price is $9,500,000. Construction shall be completed by May 18th.
2018.
Excuse me,
All right.
May 2018. That would be awful fast.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. Jason liked it.
I do want to note on one thing while we're there is that we are shooting for May, given some of the weather we've had recently and some of the other construction stuff that's come up. We may be pushing that schedule a little bit. So we'll come back to you and talk to you about that if we need to.
Okay. And if I haven't, I'll second it. So it's moved and seconded to approve the construction agreement. Further discussion?
Just anybody who's watching, we know we've got the health department done and moved back in, and this is our next project that we started this almost 3 years ago, these capital projects, and believe really it's important that we're investing in the infrastructure for the citizens of Marion County, and this is a project long overdue for Sheriff's Office, especially those parole and probation buildings that were temporary, 25 years ago or something like that?
Before my time, sir.
Yeah, me too. I was just born, right? So yeah, just excited to see this get going.
All right. Anything else? I'll call a question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you.
you.
Under Public Works, we have 2 orders. The first is We consider an order approving a conditional use case 16014 Klopfenstein, Joe Fenimore. Joe, would you review where we've been and where you want us to go?
Sure. Good morning, Commissioners. For the record, Joe Fenimore. This item before you is a conditional use to amend conditions of approval on a previous conditional use case. Conditional use case 7880 approved a farm machinery repair business on a 1 acre parcel in an EFU zone on Seagull Springs Road. That approval included an employee cap of 2 and did not allow for repair of automobiles. This request is to modify those conditions to allow more employees and the repair of some non-farm related vehicles. The planning director issued a decision approving the request, subject to meeting certain conditions. The applicant objected to one of the conditions and appealed the decision to the hearings officer. The hearings officer held a public hearing on September 7, 2016, and on November 3rd issued a decision denying the request after finding that the conditional use was discontinued for a period of more than 6 months and was no longer valid. The hearings officer's decision was appealed to the board, who held a public hearing on January 18, 2017. At that hearing, the applicant presented evidence that the use was never discontinued, and after considering all the evidence in the record, the board reversed the hearings officer's decision and approved the request subject to conditions. The conditions limit the number of employees to 6 and limits the income generated by the repair of non-farm vehicles to no more than 25% of the gross sales of the operation. It requires the operator to maintain detailed information on the types of vehicles being repaired and to submit that information on an annual basis to the planning division. If the sales fall below 75% for any particular year, that in itself would not be grounds to terminate the use or disallow the use unless it falls below 51%. If the business meets the 75% for 3 years in a row, the reporting is no longer required. The board has the options of approving the order as written, directing staff to make changes to the order, or take no action at this time. Staff recommends the order be approved as written, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Go ahead.
Well, Mr. Chair, we talked about this in detail back in January, and it sounds like the outline of these conditions is what we had discussed then, so I don't have any further questions for Joe at this time.
2 come to mind, and you're getting at them, Joe. We've had some trouble monitoring conditions and making sure they're met. So you talked about it a little bit, but we're going to watch harder than we have to make sure if we make an agreement with somebody that it's upheld. So,
Yes, we are.
and then a minor thing, but the number 6 says, and it seems like it should have been done already, Silverton Fire District they're asking them to contact them and get something. Has that been done, or?
That would be something that they would do after they get this, after the
After they
approval's
get
granted,
this?
yes.
Okay, fine. I have nothing else, so.
So, Mr. Chair, I'll move that we adopt an administrative ordinance granting zone change comprehensive plan amendment. Oh, excuse me.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I already crossed this one off my list. I'm just really ready to get done here, aren't I? Mr. Chair, I'll move that we approve an order for conditional use case number 16-14, Klopfenstein.
All right, we've done it 2 different ways. One between us will get it right. And I'll second the motion. Any further discussion?
Nope.
All right, call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion passes. It's approved. Thank you, Joe. Let's go on to the next then. It's we consider adoption of an administrative ordinance granting zone change comprehensive plan amendment to ZCCP 15001 Coastal Forest Products LLC. Again, Joe Fenimore.
Once again, for the record, Joe Fenimore. This item was a request to change the comprehensive plan designation from primary agricultural to industrial, and to change the zone from exclusive farm use to industrial on 6.25 acres located on Portland Road Northeast, the old North Salem Drive-In. The Marion County Hearings Officer held a public hearing on August 5th, 2015, and on November 10th issued a report recommending the board deny the request. The board held a public hearing on May 4th, 2016, and at its regular session on January 11th, the board considered all the evidence in the record and approved the request subject to meeting conditions. The conditions are in Exhibit B and include a limited use overlay to allow the existing use outright. Any other use listed in the industrial zone would require a conditional use permit. Conditions also limit the hours of operation, require stormwater control and treatment, and improvements to Lakeside Drive. However, if the applicant takes specific steps outlined in the conditions to prevent semi-tractor trailers from using the driveway on Lakeside Drive, those improvements can be deferred until they wish to use that driveway. The ordinance and findings have been prepared, and notice of adoption was given on February 22nd. The administrative ordinance is now set for formal adoption. The board has the options of adopting the ordinance, direct staff to prepare a modified ordinance, or choose not to adopt the ordinance at this time. And staff recommends you adopt the ordinance as written. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to clarify, one of the conditions was the hours of operation being closed from 7 to 7 a.m. to the public.
Correct.
So a semi could come in for a delivery before that time,
Using the Portland Road driveway, correct.
using the Portland Road
Yes.
driveway.
Yes.
Okay.
So what does the county need to watch here, same as I was talking about in the prior one?
There's-
Hours, the trucks?
The hours that, and to make sure that the conditions are written very specific on how to limit access to the driveway on Lakeside. So once that's in place, it's just a matter of making sure that they maintain that.
Okay, sounds good.
So now, Mr. Chair, I'll move that we adopt an administrative ordinance granting the zone change comprehensive plan amendment ZCCP 15-001 for Coastal Forest Products LLC.
I'll second the motion. Any further discussion? I don't hear any, so I'll call a question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, the motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Again, a little bit of a passing error. It's been for some time, but that used to be the drive-in when I was in school. Not that that means anything, just let you know.
No,
All right.
never went there.
Well, yeah, can't tell you.
Wasn't born yet.
Under the Sheriff's Office, next item is we consider approval of memorandum of understanding with the U.S. Attorney for the District of Oregon, Chemawa Indian School to enhance safety at Chemawa Indian School for juvenile delinquent matters. Sheriff Myers and Chuck Seibrandt, and Eric isn't here. They kind of wanted to make this a consent item. It's going along well and seems that therefore must be working well. The program, I would like you to get into. We started a few years back and to fill a need, and it does seem to be working well. And I just kind of wanted us and the public to get a little update on what is going on at Chemawa and how this is working, or what you need, whatever.
Absolutely. Thank you, Commissioner. For the record, my name is Jason Myers. I'm the Marion County Sheriff, and this contract has been a fabulous relationship between initially what started with the Sheriff's Office, but we've collaborated with other county departments. Back in 2005, the Chemawa Indian School approached the Sheriff's Office about having a contract for school resource officers at the school. And a fortunate event led to this. Prior to that, they had the Bureau of Indian Affairs, law enforcement providing services to the school. So we took on this opportunity, and the contract started, and we assigned deputies out at the school. We quickly discovered that when an issue arises at the school involving a student, that because the school is a federal enclave, the venue is the federal government, and that series of laws that govern don't really bode well for youth. And so we worked together with the U.S. Attorney, and in 2010 kind of expanded our contract to include the Juvenile Department and the District Attorney's Office, and not to be in a punitive way, but to come alongside of us when we had troubled youth and work with the youth at the school. As you may or may not know, many of the youth come from basically all across the western states to attend Chemawa. And prior to having this collaborative relationship where when we had an issue with the troubled youth, we would end up just having to send the youth back to their reservation and not deal with the actual issue. So now we're able to deal with it on the campus for most situations, which bodes very well both for our office and the youth. I will tell you that I've had an opportunity to go to Seattle. The BIA invited me to their main office on the West Coast in Seattle to really talk about partnership that we have. There's none like this in the United States. There's several boarding schools across the United States. This is looked as the gold standard in terms of a relationship between local law enforcement and the school. What we've seen is that our deputies work side by side with these youth. They coach, they have career fairs, they get the youth engaged in ride-alongs with deputies, opportunities for our cadet program. I think if you asked any staff member at the school, they would say that this is by far the best working environment where you have law enforcement working positively with youth. And I will let the partners here, I would say that the collaboration with the juvenile department and the district attorney's office really helps kind of further and enhance that working relationship to really turn youth in a positive direction that may have trouble. The one other piece I'll add is the peer court, and this is something recently that's been started. Maybe Chuck will talk a little bit about that, but that is very well received both with the students and the staff there in terms of when youth have issues, problems that arise at the school, they're able to deal with it locally.
If I can interrupt you there, just prior to the meeting, Don Kelly, who was here for another matter, was talking about working with Silverton to set that peer court up. So that's kind of the normalcy in Marion County and making sure that things are available to all our youngsters. So I'm pretty happy about that.
And then
Thank
Silverton's
you
is a
both.
long-standing program, and we certainly appreciate the benefit of their working with us to help establish this. So
Great.
Chuck?
For the record, my name is Chuck Sybrant, I'm Deputy Director of the Juvenile Department. And good morning, Commissioners and Chair.
Good morning.
The Sheriff's right. It has been a wonderful collaboration of three agencies getting together and not only having an agreement, but it being long-standing. Excuse me. The first few years we had to work out, we're taking a different culture with the juvenile system and incorporating that, and different languages and different needs culturally and so forth. And they were, Chimawa's been wide open to working with us and meeting the needs that we had as far as the system goes. Since those first few years, we have the communications worked well. We've refined the type of cases we get involved in. We've worked for the last 2 or 3 years to get the peer court up and going. The start was a little difficult, but just so you know, we referred 27 youth this year to the peer court, and 7 were sent home, and 20 are working their way through the peer court. And what is really encouraging is that the campus is buying into this. The kids are. They had 6 volunteers last year, and now this year they have between 15 and 20 kids serving as jurors and working with the program. So it's spreading. Our relationship with them continues to go well. Occasionally we have communication snafus. However, from the principal down to our liaison, there's a lot of cooperation, and it would be really difficult not to continue this simply because they're kids in our community, and they contribute to our community as Chimawa has. And I'd like to see this continue, and it's a good commitment of resources for a positive outcome.
Commissioner Dave Wilson's here from the District Attorney's Office. He could say a few words because this is definitely a collaboration.
Good morning, Commissioners. I think what Mr. Sybrant talked about with the peer court, I'd just like to emphasize how good that is for the community. It's a positive impact on both the youth who's offended at the reservation, at the school, and also for the people who participate. And so I support this program. On the prosecution side of things, I think our involvement has helped reach kids back in their own community. So we've been able to have our court contact other tribal courts in cases where a case was pending and work towards a resolution to transfer the probation to that court. So I think that's something that I don't see would be possible without this intergovernmental agreement.
Great. All right, that's exactly the kind of things I wanted to hear, and I think this program protects and guides these youth and protects the community too, so that's about as good as we get. Commissioner, anything?
Well, just as I listened to it, because I had not heard about this before, it'd be great to maybe observe the peer court sometime if something's coming up and our schedule allows. I'd enjoy, if that's possible, how that operates.
Excuse me, Commissioner, I'm sure it is. Cindy Schaefer not only coordinates Silverton, she also works closely with Shamawa and coordinates that as well. I certainly can make contact with her and have her coordinate something with you, set a time
Yeah,
with you.
with Kenna up in our office, that'd be great.
Okay.
To be able to observe and see it.
Be a nice gesture too, let them know that we care.
Right.
Good.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, I need a motion to approve this, and thank you, before I leave it, for doing just what I hoped and letting people know what's going on.
Oh, Mr.
Oh, excuse me, John?
Mr. Chair, if I might, when I came to Marion County 13 years ago, I argued that I wanted to try and create an enterprise approach to managing county government, and this is a great example of that. The people thought I meant centralized. I didn't mean that at all. I meant departments working together to provide better programs for our citizens. And these folks have created a classic example of what I meant by an enterprise approach to managing programs. I appreciate what they've done, and my congratulations on the quality of the program.
Thank you. So then a motion if we did.
Would you like to make the motion? No. Yesterday he wanted to vote.
Yeah, I know, he's always trying to.
Yeah. Mr. Chair, I'll move approval of a memorandum of understanding with the U.S. Attorney for the District of Oregon Chemawa Indian School to enhance safety at Chemawa Indian School for juvenile delinquent matters.
I'll second it. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call a question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Again, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in this morning. And Sheriff, you're going to stay here, it looks like. The next item is we consider approval of an intergovernmental agreement with the city of Hubbard in the amount of $23,392.50 to provide interim police chief services through April 30th, 2017.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair and Commissioner Cameron. So about a week and a half ago, Mayor Pacina reached out to me, she's the mayor of Hubbard, basically had a situation that had happened within their police department where their chief had resigned, and the next ranking officer, who was a sergeant who had been in line to oversee the department, had retired, and the city was in need of some assistance for supervision over their police department as they go through the process of identifying and selecting a chief to run the police department. And so our inquiry was, would the sheriff's office have an executive that we could loan to them for a 60-day period of time while they went through that selection process? And we have identified a lieutenant within our office that would be available to do that. It's Lieutenant Jerry Adcock. And this contract would cover his salary and benefits for that 60-day period of time to help oversee the police operations while the city selects a chief. So we thought it's the right thing to do, given the circumstances. We would certainly want to help any community in a time of need, and this definitely is a time of need for the police department. As I understand it, they have 6 slotted positions. They're down to 2 officers, so definitely the need is critical.
Okay.
We heard about this, was it yesterday? I think we got an update on this in our meeting, so.
Just one thought or two. I promised when I came is to try to support the city, so this is exactly what that is. So that tends to make me favorable. The only thing, I guess I'm kidding, I hope, we seem to be training a lot of officers for communities other than Marion County, so just ask them, we'll give, but look elsewhere. Is that, anyway, whatever happens. But I'm happy that we can do this and glad you've come up with the plan. So with that, I think it's time for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll move that we approve an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Hubbard in the amount of $23,392.50 to provide interim police chief services through April 30th, 2017.
I'll second the motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Thank you, Commissioners.
All right, that is the end of our action items this morning. Except to read now where the places will be together in the coming week. Excuse me, John.
Mr. Chair, this is another example of carrying the enterprise approach way beyond Marion County. I mean, we do work with our cities in Marion County in a variety of ways, and this is a great example of how we do that.
Thank you. All right. Back to our schedule this afternoon, or at noon, 12 o'clock to 1, we have a Woodburn, Marion County meeting at Luisa's Taqueria, 523 Front Street in Woodburn. I'd like to just mention that's available to the public. Anybody'd like to come? It's an informal group of local officials and interested people. So that's it's 9:30, so it'll be at noon today. Tomorrow morning, 7:30 to 9:30, the Sedcor Ag Breakfast at the Fest Hall Room, 500 Wilco Highway Northeast in Mont Angel. Thursday, 9:30 to 11:30, Department Head Elected Officials Meeting, Commissioners Boardroom, 5th floor, 555 Court Street Northeast in Salem. Friday, the 3rd, 9 o'clock till 3, Kids and Community Summit, the Wainema Place, Temecula Community College, Building 48, Room 210, and that's at 4001 Wainema Place Northeast in Salem. That evening, Friday, 6 o'clock to 8, Salem's 67th First Citizens Award Banquet, Salem Convention Center, 200 Commercial Street Southeast in Salem. Monday, the 6th of March, 8:30 to 9, Calendar Review, Silverton Conference Room, 5th floor, 555 Court Street in Salem. That's followed at 9 o'clock to 11, Management Update, again, same location, Silverton Conference Room. After that, 11 o'clock to 12, a BOC CAO meeting, executive session needed pursuant to ORS 1926602 A, B, D, F, H, and I. Well, that just about covers it, and that'll also be in the Silverton Conference Room. That's followed at 1:30 with the one-on-one department head meeting with Tom Fry from our IT department, Silverton Conference Room, 5th floor, 555 Court Street. Tuesday, 8 to 4, Economic Development Summit, Kaiser Civic Center, 930 Chamawa Road Northeast in Kaiser. Tuesday, the 7th, North Fork Community Meeting. That'll be an interesting one. Camp Cascade, 33806 North Fork Road in Lyons. Next Wednesday at 9 o'clock, our weekly Board of Commissioners meeting here in Senator Hearing Room, 1st floor, 555 Court Street. And that's followed by our annual Marion County State of the County presentation at noon at Broadway Commons, 1300 Broadway Street Northeast in Salem. And again, that's from noon to 1:30. And that is followed at 2:30 by the Governor's Reentry Council meeting, Oregon State Capitol, Room 350, 900 Court Street Northeast in Salem. Commissioner Carlson is on her way back from representing us in Washington. I've watched a little bit, whatever she's posted on Facebook. It looked like she did a lot of things, but I know that she always produces, so I'm anxious to kind of get a report as she gets back on what she found and what new aids Marion County may get as a result of that. And then I mentioned one last thing, it's Ash Wednesday. It's 1 month from your birthday, I'm told, but
Well,
I
yeah,
just want to make the
I'm not sure
announcement.
which is more important.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not giving anything up this year. I'm always a failure. So I'll just try harder and let it go at that. That's about all I have this morning. Can you brighten us up any?
Well, I just was, as I was signing documents, listening to the schedule, and I was getting tired just how busy we are.
It's getting there.
I mean, we are, the last 2 weeks I've been going, and I'm just looking at this, listening to that. And we've got some really big meetings coming up. You mentioned the little North Fork meeting. You mentioned, well, then we got the North traffic. That's not on here yet, but
Is that supposed to be?
no, it's not. It's coming out into the future.
I just said yes.
The
I
rural
don't quite know what I would do. Rural economic development. Is that where you're just
Yeah,
going?
the
What-
rural
what is that
economic
about?
development, that's our economic, EDAB, Economic Development Advisory Board and staff, Sarah Cavazos in Community Services and Danielle, they're working on this. This is going to be our first economic development focused on some of the rural areas in Marion County.
And who are you expecting to be there?
Actually,
Turnouts.
we've
looking
given
good?
scholarships to all our little cities.
Okay.
They can send a city councilor or a clerk or whatever, so that they can attend, and we've opened it up to Yamhill and Polk County. So, again, like John said, this isn't about just Marion County. This is about, the state and our
region.
area, our region. So we're excited, and we've got some great speakers, and if anybody's watching, they can go to our website and find out more information and how to sign up for that. And I think I'll have a approved list of jokes as the opening speaker,
Wonderful.
so
Yeah.
I won't be in trouble. You can give me some if you want.
I think it's in the delivery. I never get in the trouble you do. That's just what I thought. All right, anything else this morning?
Oh, no. Oh, yeah, I was going to recognize that Kyle Palmer was appointed the new mayor of Silverton this week to replace Rick Lewis, who had to resign. He didn't want to resign, but he was, based on conflict of interest, who we appointed to replace Representative Vic Gilliam. So that's
It's a
congratulations
little bit
to
of a
Kyle.
domino if forget about. 'cause
Yeah,
we're
now
not
there's
looking
an
for a
open
council
seat.
member.
Now there's an open seat in the council, so.
Well, we have some issues. I'm working on Oregon Garden working with Rick, so I think Kyle will be very good. Wish him the best.
Yeah.
All right, anything else? Last chance. All right, then I'm going to call this meeting adjourned.
Fantastic.